Once upon a time by a quiet riverbank there lived Ratty, the mole, and Bodger. The days were peaceful and the sun always shone. Ratty and Bodger were the best of friends, mainly because Bodger often needed Ratty to help him out of tight situations. They were both a bit suspicious of the mole and wondered what his motives might be, but he seemed friendly enough at the time. But trouble was brewing. The pals all knew Toad of Toad Hall, but they were becoming increasingly concerned with his latest obsession about leaving the EU or something. Why doesn't he stick to what he knows? Maybe he could become a financial advisor, laughed Bodger. This is Mr. Toad practicing at Toad Hall with his new voice.
You're behaving like the mafia. You think we're a hostage. We're not. We're free to go. We're free to go.
He certainly sounds very stern. And he seems to be accusing someone of behaving like the mafia. Could that be the dreaded EU? But Bodger himself also gets very carried away sometimes for no particular reason. Here he has become obsessed with Peppa Pig.
Yesterday I went to Peppa Pig World. I don't know if you've been to Peppa Pig World. Hands up anyone who's been to Peppa Pig World. I was a bit hazy what I would find at Peppa Pig World, but I loved it. And Peppa Pig World is very much my kind of place.
Anyway, let's hope Bodger is all right now. Bodger secretly thought that maybe he could further his career by getting Britain out of the EU. But the problem was that Mr. Toad, although he came from a posh school like Bodger, had taken to talking, a bit common, in speeches, to appeal to ordinary people, who were worried about all them foreigners taking their jobs. Ratty secretly liked the idea of leaving the EU and spent hours trying to think up slogans.
Enough is enough. No. We've taken it up us for too long. No. EU shafted all of us. Take control now. I know. Take back control. Take back control. That's it. That'll get them going. And we'll get all those idiots to parrot it in every interview and debate. I'm brilliant! Can follow up with, let's get Brexit done. Let's get Brexit done.
But he wasn't too keen on Mr. Toad. Thing was, Mr. Toad was causing a lot of problems on the riverbank with his obsession. He used to be obsessed with flying aeroplanes, and that obsession certainly didn't end well. So the three chums set off for Toad Hall, a massive mansion nearby, to try to make Mr. Toad see sense. Bodger, Ratty, and the mole eventually arrived at Toad Hall. They couldn't believe their eyes, it was so huge. The three chums approached the impressive entrance and suddenly Mr. Toad himself appeared. He was using that voice again.
You're behaving like the mafia. You think we're a hostage. We're not. We're free to go. We're free to go. And 85. And now I do understand.
I am thinking that Mr. Todd may be helpful after all. Especially if this crazy plan works.
What? I don't understand. I love the idea of leaving the EU, but Mr. Toad is simply not right for this job. Apparently, he already has problems with the stoats and weasels and all kinds of rabble. We need a better class of leader, like Bodger, to take charge of Brexit.
Well, I don't think it matters which fool does it as long as someone gets Brexit done. Let's get Brexit done. Let's get Brexit done.
Bodger and Ratty looked suspiciously at the mole, but then thought, well, the mole is a bit weird and often seems to like trouble of any kind. They tried to calm Mr. Toad down, but it was to no avail and sadly just trudged back to the riverbank. It's much later and Ratty, Bodger, and the mole are watching Mr. Toad on TV addressing the European Parliament.
And I got into politics because our political class in Britain led us towards a European political project. So if that result last week sweeps a few of them away, so be it. But I am looking forward next year to celebrating our Independence Day on June the 23rd.
Well, I never thought he'd do it. Although I must say, Bodger certainly did his bit on that bulldozer on TV.
So, Mr. Toad and the Bodger, with some help from Ratty and his catchy slogans, actually managed to get Brexit done. They were helped by that silly David Cameron, who decided to ask the great British public an incredibly complex question they were not equipped to answer, but somehow the majority actually voted yes. Ratty fell out with Bodger, who was eventually found out for being incompetent and partying too much, and the mole disappeared to cause trouble elsewhere. Mr. Toad's luck finally ran out and he was eventually debanked. And they all lived unhappily ever after.